to you from my attic. Yes, this is somewhat like an attic. It's my roof is right here, so you can see that I'm sitting in my attic. And if you are online, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up so that I know who all are watching. The topic for today is, that person came out of nowhere. There was a sudden surprise that you were surprised, and someone just came in front of you while you were riding or driving, and everything happened in a flash of a second. Now, many of you might have had this problem while you were, riding or driving. This is for both people, whether you are riding or driving, you could have faced this issue. So please go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like this topic, and we will go ahead and start with this. For the benefit of those who are probably watching this video later, let me go ahead and explain why I talk about this. Recently, there was one instance where I was going around a circle. Okay, so I was doing the right thing and I was going around the circle, but there was someone coming the wrong way. So that person ultimately landed up right in front of me. So I was here and this person came from here, and we were about to crash into each other. So yes, somewhere I did not anticipate that person coming from that direction, and thinking about that person would have come in my way. So that is the reason why I thought this is a good topic, and this is something that a lot of us face. Now, there are two parts of this. One is, yes, the other person might be wrong. Two is that even if it is the other person's fault, there are ways we can save ourselves from such a situation. And that is why what I wanted to talk to you all about today, so that we could have this interaction. And the best way to communicate with me would be to go ahead and send me a message on my Instagram handle. You can just send me a direct DM. My DMs are open to everyone, by the way, so you can just go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram, and I could read that here. Let me just check if there was any DMs received. Okay, right. I do see one DM received stating that, oh yes, that happened with me, and someone came in their way all of a sudden out of nowhere. Now, this funda that a person can come out of nowhere in your way, this entire funda is somewhere flawed, because ideally you should have the knowledge of places from where people can come in front of you, or places from where animals can come in front of you, or places from where anything can come in front of you, be it a vehicle, be it a cycle, be it a hand cart, be it anything. So you need to have that vision to be able to avoid those kind of circumstances. So the first thing that we will talk about is to make sure that you do something to avoid such situations where someone just suddenly comes in your way. The first thing for that is to understand your road. Okay, now understand this with regards to the road, is that your speed should be as per the road that you are on. Now, this I have covered a bit in my previous videos as well, wherein I give the best example of Eastern Express Highway. In that, there is a section where there are four roads. Okay, there are around four roads which are going straight, and there is a service road, four roads in the main section which are going straight, and there is a service road which has only two lanes going in the same direction. Many times we see when the four lanes get jammed, we see people switching to the two lanes and driving at the speed which they would drive at in the four lanes. Guys, this is a problem. The reaction time that you will get in a two-lane road is not the same that you will get in a four-lane road, right? And of course, with that, we also spoke about the position where you should be in that four-lane road to be able to save yourself, right? So coming back to the basics, first, look at what road are you on. Are you on a four-lane road, three-lane road, two-lane road, or a one-lane road? Now, if you are on a one-lane road, you need to have a speed with which you can suddenly brake if someone comes into your lane from either side. If someone comes from the left or someone comes from the right. Now, this could be a person, or this could be a dog, or it could be a handcart, or it could be anything. A car could be reversing as well, and that person would probably not be able to see you, right? So, in such a situation, are you able to brake in time while that person comes in front of you? Right? This braking is something that is important that you should have. Now, ideally, it is said that the speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour is the limit below which there have not been any fatal accidents, is what the statistics say. So yes, if you are around 30 kilometers per hour, there is a good chance you will be able to brake in time, or even if you're not, there's a good chance that the accident will not be that fatal, which means that it will not be because of that accident if your speed is below 30 kilometers per hour, because your reaction time will be very, very less in a one lane road. Okay, now from a one lane road, let's move to a two lane road. Okay, when you have two lanes going in the same direction, somewhere if the whole road is empty, even then you need to watch out and make sure that your speed is not like 100 or something. Just like I said, on the service road on the Eastern Express highway, you cannot be riding at 80 and 100, because there is a left side of the road which is a wall. There are sections in that wall that are open. There are sections in that where people can come from the farm side, or from the trees side, or from the the greenery side, or from the bushes as well. Someone might just have gone into a leak or something. So these things happen there. So you need to make sure in that two lane road that you are there on the Eastern Express highway, you need to keep your speed limit around 50 or lower. Now 50 also is a stretch. If you keep it to 40, great, but I'm sure people will think that 40 is too slow, that is 30, and this. So let's just say 45. Decide and think, what do you need now? Now there are two lanes that you have, wherein when the person will start from the either side and they come to you in the center, for that you should be riding in the center or driving in the center of the two lanes. Yes, I know people will say you need to manage your lane and this and that. Do that when you see someone approaching from behind. So yes, keep an eye on your mirror and see if someone is coming from behind. Move to the left and let that person go from the right if you are too slow, right? But otherwise, if there's no one coming from behind, stick to the middle of two lanes, so that if you have any surprise from either side, you can take care of that. Even better, if you think that the right side is absolutely free and there is a divider there, and you can see there's no one on the other side, and you can see the two lanes that are there on the other side as well, and there can be no surprises, then stick to the right lane until someone comes from behind, right? Then you move to the left lane, because then if you are in the right lane, you can see that there is nothing on the right side that can come in your way. 100% sure there are no blockages. It's just a small divider which is like a feet or two, and you can easily look over it, right? If that is the case, then yes, go to the right lane. Otherwise, ride in between the two lanes, so that if there is a surprise from either side, you are able to take care. But if the right is empty, then yes, you are in the right lane, and then you'll have little more time if someone is coming from the left, right? But you have to keep an eye on your right as well. So this is with regards to a two lane road, right? So we spoke about speed limit 30 for one lane, speed limit 45 for maybe two lanes. Now let's get to three lanes. Now this is where people really tend to feel the freedom. Oh yes, I am free. Oh yes, I can ride as fast as I can. It's a three lane road. It is open. It's middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the night, and there'll be no one coming in my way. But other vehicles are also thinking in the same way, just like you are thinking. So even they are thinking, the road is empty. I can go ahead. I can have fun. Both of y'all are thinking in the same way. And you might be going straight, and that person might be coming this way. And he might also think, at this time there's no one on the road, man. It's 3 in the morning. No one comes on the highway at this time. But that is when the worst accidents happen on our highways. I'm not kidding. You see the statistics, you will see a lot of these dangerous accidents that happen at high speed are generally in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. These are the spots where you will see truck drivers also a bit sleepy. They take time to react or something like that, or even the bus drivers for that matter. So make sure that you are aware of these things around you, right? So in a 3-lane road, you make sure that your speed limit is around 60 to 65. Again, I know people will hate me for saying this, but please understand. Now I understand that if you are in the center lane, you have one lane in the left, you have one lane in the right, so you have time to react to people, to dogs and other things coming from either side. But still, you just have a one lane time. It's not that you have the entire stretch of the road. You just have how much time you will get for someone to come from the side lanes. So that is all the time that you have to brake, and you should be able to stop before you get to that person who is trying to cross the road, or that dog that is trying to cross the road, or that vehicle that is trying to cross the road. You should be able to brake before that. That is the reason why you should have certain speed limit even on a 3-lane road. This going further to a 4-lane road. Again, yes, great. It is an open road, middle of the night, you have great vision. Please don't ride on the extreme right if the divider is too tall.
You are not able to see what is on the other side. There are times when pedestrians come in their way at the middle of the night. It could be a cop that is crossing the road. It could be someone who desperately needs to go on the other side of the road. There could be an emergency for someone due to which he's trying to cross the highway in the middle of the night, or any time when such a highway is free. Some surprises can come to you. So make sure that you're driving in the middle of the second and the third lane. Yes, again, keep an eye behind you. If someone is coming from behind, go to the second lane, let that person go by, right? But make sure that you are in the middle of the four lanes to get the best time if someone is coming from either side. And you should be able to brake before these people come into your lane, right? So that is the idea behind the instance today. So this is step number one. You should be at the right speed in the right lane to be able to avoid such surprises coming in your way. Okay, this will be step one. Speed is just step one. You should be in the right speed. Second, do you know there is a rule that on every intersection you are supposed to slow down? One of the major reasons why people have accidents is because on intersections also they are continuing at the same speed that they were at on the open road. Guys, if there is an intersection, it means there could be a vehicle, a person, an animal coming in the opposite direction, or someone coming the other way. So if you see that there is an intersection ahead, please slow down. Please slow down on every intersection until you are able to see that intersection is absolutely clear. There's no one coming from both sides. And at times it does happen that you are looking at one side and suddenly someone comes from the other side. So you need to keep looking left, right, left, right. It isn't that you just keep looking left, okay, no one's coming from the left, I see right one, someone's coming from the right and I go. No, it might happen by the time you're looking at the right, there is some other thing that is coming in speed from the other side. Or there could be a blind corner that they might be coming around. So there is still a chance that there could be someone coming from the left or from the right. So make sure when you are in that position to an intersection, any intersection, even the smallest of intersection, even if it's a one lane that is going by, even if it is a pedestrian crossing that they are showing, it is kind of an intersection. You have to slow down. It's a rule to slow down. In fact, it is there in our laws as well. There's a fine for not slowing down on an intersection. There is a separate video I have done on that. So make sure that on every intersection you slow down and you do not run into a vehicle or a person or an animal that comes in your way, right? That is the next thing. The next thing after that is with regards to these blind corners. Okay, now when I talk about blind corners, that could be anywhere. Okay, now the most common blind corner is on a turn. Many times we have seen that when we are trying to turn left, okay, when we are trying to turn left, there are people who are trying to turn right. They don't have the knowledge that they have to keep left. They come to the right and they come right in your way. So at every single turning, you have to make sure that you slow down, and if you want, you honk and avoid that clash from the person coming in the other direction. See, if both of you keep your left, you will just pass like that. But the problem is the person coming from the other side, instead of keeping to the left, he comes down to his right and he comes in your way, right? So that is the other thing that we need to look at, that when we are going into a blind corner, we avoid that situation, right? We avoid the fact that we go into a situation where someone crashes into us. Okay, so avoid having an accident at an intersection where you are running into each other. Okay, so that is the next point with regards to avoiding someone coming suddenly. Okay, one more thing with regards to highway ridings at high speed and all that. Many times we feel we are fast and there is no one who's faster than us, and we won't have a problem. The surprise is when you are driving at 120 kilometers per hour and there's another car coming from behind you at 200 kilometers per hour. You might just think the right lane is free for you to take, and you might just be going into that right lane, whereas the car from behind is in the right lane and zooming by at 200 kilometers per hour, and you might just bang into that car, right? This is again when you will feel that people come out of nowhere. This may not always happen at 120, and this happens between a car and a bike. Let's say there is a KTM coming from behind at the speed of 80 and you are going at the speed of 60, right? You might just think that the lane is empty for you and you just decide to go there, boom, you could run into that biker who's coming into that lane. He's much faster than you, that's why he got there. Okay. Now, it also happens that at times we are shifting around too much from one lane to the other and zigzagging, maybe from the first lane to the second lane to the third lane. That also causes all these errors, right? This may also be the fault of the biker, wherein he was actually in the to your left on the backside and you were trying to go to the right. He saw that the road ahead was blocked. He cut into the second lane and he cuts into the first lane and he's trying to come ahead from the first lane. And you are going to go into the first lane at the same time. So these things also do happen. That is why whenever you are changing lanes, also use your indicators. Let your indicator blink 3 times. Beep, 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 and then slowly go into that lane. Never do a sudden change of lane, because that is where the issues happen. If it's a gradual one, even that person will see you coming and take evasive action. He might honk or he might slow down, right? So that could be the other thing that you could do while switching between lanes. Please use your indicators. It will help avoid an accident, and that person who is in your blind spot somehow will know that you are coming into that lane, and that achanak thing or that surprise element will not happen. Now, one more thing with open roads is that when you see a truck or a bus, please understand, during normal traffic times, these guys ride very, very slow. So when they get an empty road, they feel, yes, let's gas it out and go as fast as we can. And if there is an obstruction in their way, they are like bikers. I would not deny that. Yes, they drive like bikers. You have seen big trucks in one lane suddenly coming into the other lane, from left lane to the right lane, or from right lane to the left lane, because they see that the roads are empty. At such times, again, the same biker thing might happen. The truck might be at 60, the bike might be at 100, and it is trying to overtake from the left, and the truck just came in the left. Or it could even be when it goes to the right. This has happened to me with a truck as well. Luckily, I had kept a 1 lane distance almost. So if the truck was in the first lane, I was in the second lane, close to the left side. So almost the entire lane distance I had to make sure that if this guy starts coming, I will take evasive action and I will brake. And that's what I actually did. Because I had that gap, I had that time to adjust to this truck coming into my lane. Now, here it is very, very important that you start following lanes. If you follow lanes, as soon as you see the car's tire coming into your lane, it's a warning sign that car is coming into your lane. But if you don't follow lanes, you will never understand these warning signs. If someone is driving in the middle of the lane, honk, tell that person to move aside and then you go ahead. Or keep honking while you're going ahead, because that since one tire is already in your lane, so he will say, boss, I was already in this lane, I'll come into this lane, right? But if that person's tire is not in your lane, you have a clear lane for yourself, then you can just go by. But if you see that the tire of that person is slowly coming into your lane, you have to honk or make some sign to make sure that you let that person know that it is your lane that he's getting into. Now, I know I'm saying honk, honk, and people will say honking is not a good thing, you should not honk so much. But guys, Indian drivers are good, but there are some drivers who are not that good. Please understand, our driving tests are not that strong. I don't blame them right now, but the point here is that we have some not so experienced drivers on the road that probably should need to have more experience before they can be on the road. But the reality is they are there and we need to avoid an accident with them. So if you are in a close call with someone, please honk. Okay. A simple example of that is similar when you see a car in the left lane and there is some space for the biker to go by. Many times I've seen bikers just going by without anything. Please make sure if it is a close call, you at least honk once. Or if there is a bike going in front of you and there are 2-3 bikes going by, okay, then that car understands that yes, there are bikes coming from here. But if you are the first one to go from that gap, or if there has been a big gap between the bike in front of you and then you are there's a big gap between the two of you, then just give a small honk. It does not have to be an irritating honk. It can just be a beep. It need not be a beep, or it could just be a beep beep, just to keep it a bit musical. I like to do the beep 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 if required, so that that person knows. When I feel that I'm not sure if this person is coming in my way or not, especially if it's a truck, I do a musical horn, because it's a long distance that I have to cover. From the back tire of the truck till the front tire of the truck, that whole section is a big section, and any movement during that could be lethal. Again, I say this because this has happened to me. I was next to a cement truck. I was between, in fact, I was between a car and a cement truck, and I was trying to go by. Everything was standing and there was enough gap for me to go by, but as soon as I started going, the signal turned green and this truck started moving, and my left foot went under the rear tire. Just my toes went under the rear tire of that cement truck. It was painful. I wish no one else goes through it. Luckily, thank to God, nothing happened to me. I did not have a fracture or anything, or at least I didn't have to get it checked for a fracture or something. So I was safe and I survived that. But yes, this has happened to me in person. I have learned from these mistakes that I have made in my own life. I don't want anyone else to go through these same things. It was life saving for me. What did happen at that time in my accident is that the I was on a Bajaj Chetak, and the footboard of that cut into my calf, and I had a cut over there because the footboard's border was open. It did not have a rubber coating at the end of it, so the metal sheet had kind of gone into that. I took an antiseptic just to make sure that it does not hurt me. I don't get infection or anything. But yes, that is something that has happened to me, wherein I have had this close call with trucks and buses, and that's why I have something that I want to tell these people. Similarly, the previous example I gave you, I did brake very hard, and my rear tires began to sway like a fish, but I somehow survived because my front tire was in my control. Probably that is something we will talk another day with regards to braking. We have different thoughts with regards to braking as well. So that will be a topic that we will discuss some other day. Okay. So this is with regards to making sure that you don't have any surprises. If you're on the highway, if you're on an open road, if you're on a single road with no intersections, keep your speed limit. If you see an intersection, please slow down. The next thing is, when you see a blind spot, you see that someone can come out of a blind spot, you need to make sure that you are anticipating this thing. I'll give you the popular example again. My friend was going in his Nano. There was a Chota Hathi Tata Ace parked, and the back side of the truck was here, and he was trying to go through. As he was starting to go through, the truck started reversing and it hit his car, right? Now, the Tata Ace does not have that great vision. It does not have rear cameras or anything for it to know that there's someone behind him. Had this guy just honked while going, he would have stopped probably. But he did not anticipate this guy coming behind, and he went ahead. That's where the challenge is. That's where I say that if you see a car, even if it is parked, but if the tire of that car is pointed outwards, so if the car is parked to the left but the tire is pointing outward, it means if someone starts, it will directly come into your lane and you're trying to overtake it. So if the tire is pointing outwards and you're going from here, make sure that you slow down, you watch if the car is on or not, there's someone sitting in the car or not. If the tire is like this, it's not that fast, because first they will have to turn it to come in your way. But if the tire is like this already, which means it's a threat. So you have to see the car's tires that are parked on your left. I know this will sound very funny, but once you start making it a habit, it will, something that you will do it automatically. You won't have to tell yourself to do it. As soon as you pass by cars, you will see that your eyes will automatically go to the tire of that car rather than who's sitting in the car. It doesn't matter who's sitting in the car. What matters is where is the tire pointing of that car. If the tire is pointing towards the outside, make sure that you slow down or you create a bit little more distance from that car. Another surprise that can happen there is opening doors. People do get down from the wrong side, or if it's a driver, they can also open their doors suddenly. That is where you should always have some gap from there. So the first thing I would look for in a car is the tire. The second thing I would look for in the car is the person, if there is someone sitting inside or not, and if I have enough door opening space or not. So I don't like to go very close to cars when they are parked. I like to keep that one lane distance. Like I said earlier, that almost a one lane distance will give you enough space for the door to open, and you will still have enough. Again, if it's just a one lane, or if there is other cars going in the first lane and second lane, and you're very close to the parked cars, slow down, because the doors can still open anytime and you have to brake in time to be able to make that, right? Again, this is from another accident that I have had in my personal life. A car was parked here. I was coming down the slope again on my Bajaj Chetak. This is around 15-17 years ago. I'm coming down from the reclamation. Back then there was a U-turn at the reclamation, and then we would go down to the left. I know some of you all might remember that. So I took the U-turn from reclamation. I was going down the left. That's where a car was parked on the left. So I'm coming down the slope, and this guy was parked here, and suddenly this guy came in front of me because they wanted to take a U-turn. Now, as soon as this car came in front of me, I hit it and I jumped over. right? I went over the bonnet of the car and I fell on the other side. Luckily, I did not get hurt too much. My scooter did not get hurt too much because I did brake well enough. I think it was probably down from 40 kilometers per hour to 20 kilometers per hour by the time I hit it, so it was not that lethal. But that girl's face said it all. That that she was scared and she knew that she had moved up. But the person who was training her said it was my fault and I didn't watch out and this and that. And the fact is that she came out too fast. Had she come down a bit gradually, I would have probably been able to avoid it or honk or something. I didn't have time for anything. Yes, a part of my mistake that I will agree there is that my Chetak's brakes were not that great. Even if you brake hard on a Chetak, the old Chetak, the petrol one, the brakes were not that great with the small tires. My tire was probably didn't have that much grip also, and that's why probably I was not able to brake in time. So yes, that was partially my fault as well. But yes, these surprises will keep happening in your way. You cannot avoid the situation. It's a reality, and it will happen. Okay, so these are the things that you need to keep in mind. Just to recap, first, keep an eye on your lane width. Is your lane width big enough for you to go through? Second, keep an eye for intersections. If there's an intersection, make sure that you slow down for that as well. Third, look out for blind spots if you don't have the vision. One more example that I can give is there was a time I was going with other biker friends, and they had gone a bit ahead and I was lagging a bit behind. There was this bridge that I was climbing over. As soon as I climbed over and I was about to get down, I said the road was bad. Till here, I did not know that the road was bad, and here the road became bad. So it was a blind spot that ways as well, and I was about to hit a very bad bump. Luckily, I was slightly to the left of that bump, and I was able to maneuver from the left of that bump. I didn't have to go into that bump, So it was lucky. I could have had that accident again. I curse myself for not, following my braking distance with regards to my blind spots. I thought the road was super smooth for the past 5 kilometers. I thought that it would be smooth for the next 5 kilometers, but that was my mistake. I did not anticipate that there would be something that is beyond my witness. Please go by what you see, not by what you know or what you are imagining. Many a times we go on roads that we go every single day and we feel, I know this road at the back of my hand, I know every pothole, I know every stone that is there on the road. But today it could be different. Someone could have just dug up a hole there for something or the other. Don't go in the same speed, that is not safe. Go at a speed where it is as per your vision, as per where you can see how far is safe for you. Ride or drive as per that distance. That is how I would suggest you could do to avoid these sudden things coming in your way out of nowhere. If you follow these few tips and tricks, it might just be that A, you might just save your own life, and B, if there was someone else who was stupid out there to do something stupid and come in the middle of the road, you would save that person's life as well. Yes, that person will never tell you, but yes, you could save life of other people also by following these some simple precautions and making sure that you are safe and others on the street are safe as well, right? So I guess we will end this session at this. It's been almost 28 minutes. So thank you for all that had logged in and enjoyed this session. Please do DM me on Instagram so that I could go ahead and connect with you one on one. Instagram handle is open for all to message, so you can definitely go ahead and DM me on my Instagram handle, which is again Ronnie D Leo. D is for the alphabet D and Leo. So you can find me on Instagram and we can have a chat over there. For my next session, probably hopefully next Sunday, I'll confirm maybe by Thursday or Friday. If I can do it next Sunday as well, I will let you know. But do drop in your comments, your thoughts, your vision, your whatever, So there's a new tagline that I have thought of, So this is Ronnie D Leo signing off. Ronnie D Leo, Sosal Gio. Take care. Have a nice day.